It's been kind of a rough week on social media for both James Gunn and the DCU. Now, whether you believe the things I'm going to talk about today are relevant or not, there is one thing that we all cannot deny. The negative stigma around the DC brand right now is evident. And it's going to take a lot more than a mediocre, edgy animated series to change that perception. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So this video was supposed to be a Creature Commandos Episode 3 review, but I have to be honest with you, after I watched the episode, there really wasn't much to talk about. If you are one of the people who desperately needed to know why G.I. Robot was in prison in the first place, then I guess this would be the episode for you. As someone who finds it really hard to give a shit, this episode amounted to a whole lot of nothing and more of the same. Basically continuing the DCU's lackluster launch. I guess we did get a little tease at the end of the episode that the princess is not who we think she is, which will undoubtedly lead to a heavy dose of post-nut clarity for one Rick Flag Sr. Speaking of edgy sex scenes in a DC animated series, did you guys see the behind-the-scenes footage shared by the head of DC Studios, James Gunn, this week? No? Let's just say it featured the actors who play Rick Flag Sr. and the princess respectively, voice acting out their very intimate scene with each other. Basically, James Gunn released the recording session of Maria Bakalova and Frank Grillo giving us their best sex noises.
Do I make you horny, baby?
Now this caused quite an uproar on social media, like most things do, with even some of James Gunn's biggest supporters calling the reveal inappropriate or downright creepy. Now listen, as I understand it, the actress in the video approved the release of this footage, because she basically co-signed it after James Gunn released it. So I think the people who were trying to turn this into some kind of sex crime might be going a little bit overboard with their reaction. To me, the bigger problem here is that he released behind-the-scenes footage of that scene in particular, and how that speaks to one of the major concerns that some DC fans have about James Gunn's DCU. That being, will it be built on juvenile gags and stunts just like this that don't really fit with how most people view the DC brand? Couple that with the fact that the mixed reaction to it is the last kind of reaction that DC needs right now. I just found it to be an incredibly weird decision by the head of DC Studios when he should be trying to build the credibility of this brand again. Instead, it felt like it contributed to the laughingstock reputation that WB and DC built for itself.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I mean, these things are all about timing. I'm not saying that you can't have fun at some point, but ask yourself this question. Would Kevin Feige have done something like this? And everyone who watches me knows that I'm no Kevin Feige fan, but at least he knew how to present his brand at one time that made it feel somewhat legit. And I haven't once gotten that feeling as it pertains to the new DCU. So do I think that people made too much of a big deal about this behind the scenes footage? Yes, I do. But I also feel like if it's not going to do anything to help the struggling DC brand, then why bother releasing it at all?
That makes sense.
And the hits just keep on coming, because Ryan Reynolds released a Christmas-themed Deadpool video that was made in an effort to benefit the Sick Kids Foundation. It's a very cool thing, and it's a good cause, so kudos to Ryan Reynolds for putting this together. But he also took the opportunity in the video to take yet another shot at WB and DC, mostly over the unfortunate departure of Henry Cavill. The video features Linda Carter, of course of Wonder Woman fame, who does her patented spin move only to reveal that she is not wearing a Wonder Woman costume, but instead a generic Christmas costume. Miss Carter asked, "Who did this?" To which Deadpool responds, "The DC lawyers. I knew it. Yup, it's probably the same guy that got Henry Cavill and that other Batman." In case you haven't figured it out, I'm talking about the down the street again. Now, some people are speculating that that is a direct dig at James Gunn himself. It's also possible that that is being directed at a WB executive, or as Deadpool puts it, a DC lawyer in particular. And I do realize that this video is all in good fun and not meant to be taken terribly seriously. But I do think that it does reinforce the idea, even if it wasn't intentional by Ryan Reynolds, that the DC brand is basically a punchline right now. Every single day, this company gives people more and more ammunition to make fun of it. If it wasn't the Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck situation, they could talk about the canceled Batgirl movie, or the countless flops that DC has produced over the last several years. Hell, Joker 2, which came out this year, could give someone a lifetime of ammunition as it pertains to ridiculing the DC and WB brands.
Get what you f***ing deserve!
It's crazy because Marvel doesn't even have their together anymore, and they're still making DC look bad. Because of the way that DC on film has been handled, especially lately, they are always going to be looked at as the little brother. The little brother who wants to be just like the older brother, but doesn't have the drive or knowledge to get himself there. They just want to snap their fingers and be looked at as equals, and that's just never going to happen. And that's really sad coming from someone who knows what DC is capable of, if they did things the way that they were supposed to. But instead, they chose to be reactionary and impulsive, and it led to them making a lot of bad decisions. So forgive me if I'm not sold on yet another DC reboot before I even have actual proof that things have changed. You'll know when the perception of DC has changed, because when it does, people won't overanalyze everything anymore, and more importantly, the brand will no longer be the butt of everyone's jokes.
Y'all be cool. Right on.